connected, na?
Uh,
And then I was having issues with the laptop. I had to restart my machine,
okay.
and by the time I joined back and all, I think
I waited for 10-15 minutes. Then
yes, yes, you had left, and then I think Amit didn't join, and Santosh also was not well, so he also didn't join. So we didn't
okay.
have the class. Okay, so so far we have seen in receipts the different types of transactions that we do, and then we do the receipts against those transactions, how we record the transactions, and we have seen all the way from receivables to GL, the vouchers and all those things, the journal vouchers. So we have seen all those.
Sorry to stop here.
Yeah.
In account payables, receivables, we always say it's in receipt.
Yes.
Correct. So the transaction is created in the billing and it comes to AP in the form of the receipt when customer pays back. Is it correct?
No, 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 no. It doesn't come to AP at all.
No, not AP, AR.
Yeah. Customer in AR, it is receipt when the customer is paying.
Customer is paid, correct. When customer pays the money back to me, then it is
Yes.
receipt.
Yes. It is paying the money for the
Okay.
service.
So billing is only an intermediary application for us as of now to generate the transaction and generate any uh, payment related for the customer so that customer can pay back. Is it correct?
Right.
Okay.
So one major challenge that people have with respect to these receipts and getting the money from the customer, and mostly all companies, in fact, particularly those that are dealing with telecom and all those people, one major challenge is keeping track of how much the customer owes, and what are the different steps that a person that a company can take to recover the money from the customer. So that part is called as collections. Okay. So today's topic is going to be about collections. So collection is getting the money from the customer based on their different payment terms or different depending on when the payments are due. You must have seen recently or last couple of years, 4 5 years, 5 10 years, uh, amount of messages that come in from the telecom service providers or from companies giving loans or who have outstandings. They keep giving you reminders saying that this is the money that is owed by you, and this is the payment date. Please make the payment. So they will give you a reminder once the new bill is raised in case of telecom providers. So moment a bill is raised, they'll give you a reminder saying that, hey, we have sent you the bill. The next due is on such and such date. After that, the next date is they'll give you a reminder a day, maybe a week before the due date. They'll give you a reminder 3 days before the due date, 1 day before the due date, on the date of payment. And this way they keep giving reminders one after another, right? Now same thing happens in case of EMI companies also, where you have taken a loan and you keep repeating how much you are paying and how much is outstanding and stuff like that. So in that case, they keep giving you reminders what is due and what is not due, and so on and so forth. So the objective here is to track and ensure that the payment comes in on time. In case of customers who are not paying, so they are called as delinquent customers, customers who have outstandings. So the objective of the collections team is to reduce the amount of outstanding that is there, either by sending a notice or by sending aggressive emails or aggressive communications, gradually increasing it. So the first information that will go, or the communication that will go, is please pay. Second one is like, you need to pay. Third one is you have to pay. Gradually it will, or will take legal action. Fourth or fifth might be the legal action itself. So in this way they keep increasing the degree of communication. That is called as dunning. So the process here is called as dunning. So they keep sending what we call as dunning letters. Earlier it was, you could generate the dunning letters from the system, and those reports you would have to take a printout and send it, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, where there was not so much of email communication or SMS and things like that. But nowadays mostly it is over email or through SMSs, these messages and communications are done. So the purpose behind collections is to keep track of total outstanding of the customer, managing that outstanding, having a dedicated person who will be in charge of your collections. He's called as the collector. Okay. So the collector is the person who is in charge of individual accounts or more than one account that you may have. So let's go and take a look at collections and so this, just after receivables you have this collections. So it tells you, where a customer is making promise that I'll make you the payment in five days time, in 10 days time, in 20 days time. Delinquent customers who have huge amount of outstandings, and different, depending on what you want to try. So you can search for customers, you can look them up, and you can see what is their outstandings. So let's say we had a customer for which we were tracking fit. Fit and fine. Okay. So what is the profile of the customer? That doesn't seem to be. Any outstandings, or long outstandings that you may have, that is your aging. So it is showing you which business unit, let's say. See, this is the total amount which is outstanding, amount, percentage, and it gives you the bucket. On the left hand side, you see the aging bucket here, 1 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days. So if you are talking with your customer, this is like a screen to view the entire summary. If you are talking with your customer, then it helps you to understand what you are going, how much is outstanding. Customer may say, okay, can you send me the list? Customer may say, okay, can you send me the you can hear me?
Yes, sir. Now
Okay.
we lost in.
No, I was not speaking. So this is fine, right? You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the breakup that it gives you. If you click on this, it will show you further details about the particular transaction. So this will tell you the transactions between this date and this date. So based on your, you need to click on this, then the transactions come up. So for each of these transactions, you can do an analysis. You can say what is the unpaid reason, why it has not been paid. Some of them might be that they have already paid, but it is showing as unpaid in your account. So it might be, bankruptcy, dispute, incorrect bill, never ordered these items, never received. So these are some of the different reasons that you might have why customers have not paid, right? So those are all visible over here. Now, based on this, you might like to take certain transactions. You can say pay. So the customer will say, okay, I'll pay you right now. Or, in certain cases, companies give a discount saying that, okay, if you pay this today, this is what I'm going to waive off, or this is what I'm going to request you to do this. Then you have the dispute. What is the dispute? Why it is disputed? Why are you charging me for the entire thing, and so on and so forth. Adjust, make the changes, or there could be a promise that, okay, I'm going to pay you such and such amount. Then we have the aging. This is where we were. You have the contacts. Who are the people with whom you are to be in touch? Okay, these were your account contacts along with their name, number. So you may have more than one person identified there. History of different things that have happened in the account over the past. So these are different letters that have been sent in the past. Okay, and we have different categories of dunning. So this is called as the soft dunning. So this is like a gentle reminder, such and such transaction is outstanding. So if you click on this, these are the communications that have happened. Okay, by email, or the phone numbers, what are the email addresses, what are their physical addresses, all the information. And let's look at a communication from here. So this is the communication that will get sent out, and here's a view of the communication. So it has a gentle reminder, a text, and followed by a statement, which shows the details of that particular transaction. Okay. Now, if you look at the soft turning letter also, this is the second call notice. This is the softer one. So this would be the first call notice. So this is a courtesy reminder. Excuse me. So you can probably see the difference in the language. So this one goes as courtesy reminder, whereas this is the friendly reminder, which gives you the outstanding blah blah blah, and you have the different transactions which are outstanding over here. Okay, so you get all the details over here for that particular account. This is called as dunning. So this is the dunning letters that you can generate from the system, and you can resend. Suppose you want to send it, you can say resend. Okay, so it again goes. So this time it is with today's date. And in case you want to check this, whether this is coming in or not, in the communication, you can go and change the email. You can keep your email and check whether you are receiving it or not. So from here, you can add an email format, and then you can put in your email address and then send it, and you will find that it would have gone to you. Okay. And this notes is for making notes based on communications that you might have done with the customers. What are the communications that have happened? Okay, so gradually you might have seen in the when you talk to the customer agent at the Airtel, Vodafone, or with the banks, so they keep a note. So every time you get a different person, the this person will look up what is there in the note, and based on that they will do the change. Okay, so this is about this is the single screen where you have the different collection related information for your customers. Okay. So this one, it shows you the customer hierarchy. If there are more than one customers which are linked or more than one account, then you can see the customer hierarchy over here. This is the customer name, account number. This is the site.
So in this case, whenever customer has to pay to the supplier, as we cross the aging, the reminders will be sent. This how it is integrated.
Yes, so these reminders, they don't go out automatically. You can schedule them to go out automatically also, but usually these are done manually because you don't want to, send it, keep sending again and again unless it is at regular frequencies.
But this is integrated with the AR.
Correct, correct. This is from AR. This is picking up the data from AR. Now, if I click on manage resources here, I get to see this is my collectors. Okay, individuals who are identified, who are given the task of getting the collections from the customers. So total number of accounts may be distributed either by country or by business accounts or by region, and given to individual people who are managing different accounts. As you can see here, it gives you collector wise breakup of the customer's information. So how many delinquencies, how many average, how much average currency business unit, how many customers does it involve, this total amount. Okay. Could have certain things. If there are things missing, you can just drag and move them along. Um, have more of the information displayed. Okay. Uh, Against these, you can, the, if you want to change someone, you can reassign all these accounts like you have Sharon Colby. So let's say you want to change the collector. So you can reassign the collector from that person. You can send it to somebody else. Let's say, oh no, Martin. Okay. So this is the summary dashboard. Summary process will have to be rerun to get the updated information. Once you do this, then it will come in. And you can take an export out of this into Excel just like from other screens. So from here you can click on this export to Excel and it will send it out. Coming to metrics, these are different customer wise. You can look at. So this gives you a total, like the difference performance parameters, okay, for the month, for the quarter, for the year, whether it is coming down or it's going up, average delinquencies, change from previous year. So year wise, quarter wise, and month wise, it gives you a running summary comparison. How much was promised, how much promise was broken, credit, how much extra sales, what is the current receivables, days outstanding, and what is the total lending balance. So from a collector perspective, all the things that he wants to know are visible in one single place. Okay. And as before, you can take an export out and put it in Excel. From here itself, or you can save it, download it, and then open it from your desktop. So the entire thing is now in Excel. Okay. Now, uh, in terms of uh, what are the customer wise, what strategies we have taken to understand what is the outstanding, what are the different, you know, steps that we are going to be taking to recover the amount. That's called as the strategy that we can define in the system, based on which we can take certain decisions which help us to do, like we can give a score. Okay, like this is called as the strategy task. Okay, so based on this you can do certain actions on the customer's account, and this helps you to understand what are the different tasks or what activities you are going to be doing, and when do you plan to send a hard dunning letter, when will you send the final dunning letter, when will you send it to legal for collection, and so on so forth. So that's all part and parcel of this process. So let me just do a quick log out. There is a separate login for that. The strategy part and all, let's now go into the setup and see that. Uh, Here under financials, this is a collections functional area. So these are the different definitions that you have: the aging methods, the collectors, collection preferences. Okay, and this is the strategy tasks that you have here. Okay, you could have a scoring data points, scoring, and the strategy tasks. So what does strategy task? Let's first look at the strategy task. What do they do? Basically, it tells you how you're going, what is your strategy going to be for doing the collections. So you could have some uniform norms being defined in the system. So based on certain scores, you can say, okay, if the score is between this and this, then I'm going to send out a soft running letter. If the score is going to be between this and this, I'm going to do these. So these are the different tasks that you can have. Okay, like a final demand letter, friendly reminder letter, courtesy reminder letter, hard customer call, hard dunning letter. So you have all these tasks that you are going to be having. Now against this, you could say that, okay, what is my strategy going to be? So bankruptcy follow up, this is like a review, it's manual. So how long will the strategy wait until? It will wait for so many days. It will execute this task after so many days. Okay. So these are step by step things that you can do. For example, if you this one, let's go and look at one. Okay. Let's say if you look at this, this tells you it will wait for 1 hour phone call. Okay. And after that, what it will do and things like that. So it will escalate the matter after 1 day. So if the person does not answer or the person does not respond after 1 day, they will escalate the matter. So this is a customer call. After that, you could have a visit or you could have a dunning letter sent out. You can have a harsh customer call. You could have an harsh attorney call. You can have a harsh customer visit. You can have a harsh dunning letter. So these are all part of your strategy. Okay. And you can create other strategies also by clicking on this, and you can specify what you want to be doing and what types of activity task will you be doing. Phone call, personal visit, review. Okay, so this is part of your strategy, and against these you could have different scores also compiled to understand where is the outstanding. So this is the collection scoring. Okay, so account, you could have different types of scoring, and for each of them you could have a different formula or based on which you what type of scoring you are planning to be doing. For example, this is called as account scoring. So you have different weightages that you are assigning. If the account is outstanding for more than 90 days, yes, so you are giving it 0.4 weightage. Total should always be 1. So the account delinquency, if it is between 1 to 30 days, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, you are gradually increasing the weightage. This weightage you can do as per your definitions. So this is for the account. The type is for the account. So what is the score? If it if it is zero point 0.4, then you are looking at the account delinquency from 2, from 1.01 to 10, from 10.01 to 20, from 20 to 100. So these are the different score values that you are going to be assigning. Based on this, what kind of measures, what kind of scores you are going to be having. This is like the review. So you can have which customer and how is the identifier, what kind of scores. So like if you look at you want to check for one particular customer, this is the customer account number, and you can click and get. So based on this, you could come out with a sample score. Okay, just to check whether this is working properly or not. Once you go to this review, this is for account. Now if you look, if you try to create a new one, you will see all the different types that you are going to be having. These are the different types of scoring that you can have on the customer, on the account site, or on the transactions. So for each of these levels, you could have different types of scores being identified based on weightages. Right, see here you have the different types. So we can look at one for transactions. How are you going to determine the delinquency? If the value is between this and this, we'll say 1. If the value is between 1 and 9999, it will be 100. Okay. This is for at the individual transaction level. This is at the site level. So you're looking at the bill to site and you're trying to figure out what is the score for the bill to site. So this is the site delinquency rate. A customer could have multiple bill to addresses, multiple accounts. So those based on those accounts, you could have different levels, and these you could define at so this is at the site level, and this is at the customer level, customer scoring. So it will take into account everything that falls within that customer's transactions. Okay. So that is the collection scoring. Then you have the collectors and the collection preferences. Before that, let's go to the collection scoring data points. So these are different data points that are being scored. So when you were seeing their different customer level, account level, so these are different weightages that are there. And this is the SQL statement that will go and get the data out from the database. That's how they will do the execution and evaluate what is the account status. So what does this say? It says account weighted average days paid. How many days is it paying? In how many days? In the prior 24 months. This determines how many delinquencies exist for the account, total number of delinquencies. So it gives you the sample SQL statement also. So from the names you can make out, and it gives you how you can, what sort of SQLs are required to get the data out from the system. This is for to understand how these SQLs are going to be working. Okay, as you must see, there is no, you cannot create a new data point for yourself, because the queries and all those have to be predefined. So you just can't go and write them out for yourself, but you can enable, disable them, and these are all predefined. And these are the collection preferences that you specify, all collection related. What is the default transaction class? Transactions tab automatically display closed transactions, automatically display current transactions. Transactions tab from date range, transactions tab to date range. Work status, maximum number of days work can be rescheduled. Default aging method, delimiter used to separate customer account and site. Minimum number of characters required to perform a search. Send or return email address for Dunning correspondence. Maximum number of transactions to send with Dunning letters. You can reduce this also. And number of grace days before a promise is broken. So someone says, okay, I'll pay by Monday. So if not paid by Monday, till what date are you going to be taking it forward? Number of grace days, maximum number of days to make a promise, common currency for metric calculations, past date to be used for metric calculations, preferences in terms of collections preferences set, what is the business level, what is the open credit default, what is the currency conversion type, correspondence method, unknown Dunning contact, and then these are the correspondence preferences. Send dispute notice, what is the dispute template to be using, what is the payment template, what is the promise template. So these are different communications correspondences that can be used by default. These will be used by default. So these are the preferences that you have on your collections. These are your collectors. We were seeing a long list of collectors under managed resources. So if you want to create a collector here, you can create. So you can have a different collector name also, different from the employee name, and which collector set you're going to be giving. So they will pick up all the transactions for that particular business unit. Collector is tagged at the customer level. Okay. These are your default aging methods. Different, not just the default, all the aging methods, and you can define more if you want. You have the create option here. As you can see, 4 bucket, 5 bucket, 7 bucket. So 4 buckets will have 4 different categories here based on the number of days. Up to 0 is current, 1 day to 30 days, 31 days to 60 days, 61 days and above. That's your 4 bucket. This is your 5 bucket. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and then 91 to above. So it's called as 90 plus. This is how it will be displayed. So from this day to this day, it's called, this is how it will appear, 1 to 30. Then this is your 7 bucket. So it will go from 0 to 6, and the days are separated out. 1 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 91 to 120, 121 to 150, and 150 and above. So this is like a collections bucket. This is aging bucket. Okay. Again, similarly, it is further broken down 61 to 90, then 91 to 180, 181 to 360, 361 to 1000 and above. Okay. So these are the different buckets that you can define. It's called as aging buckets. So far what we were seeing, these were the required tasks, and these are all the tasks that you have. Most of them we leave by default. Depending on your requirement, you may have to come back and change some of them. This one we had seen this account level. No, we have not seen this. No? So this is just the collection strategy for each of them. What is going to be your strategy, and from one step to the other. So here it talks about a phone call. So here it has a combination of soft, moderate, and hard. Okay. So these are the different strategies that you can have. Like this is a bankruptcy strategy. There's only one step here. Customer catch-all strategy. Build to catch-all strategy. This is based on the site level. Okay. So these are different strategies that you can set up as to how you want to address your outstandings. Most of them are all manual things that you are defining. These are the collection related lookups, just like regular lookups. These are the different task related templates that you could have. And these are the dunning configurations. Agent dunning, stage dunning. So here, based on which letter, based on which bucket, which letter you're going to be using. Have a look at this. Just give me a minute. I'll be back. I'm back. So, any questions on this?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. So basically, it's all about tracking the collections, nothing else.
This is all about tracking collections. Yes, outstanding. In some of these, for these customers, retail customers, particularly telecom and these financial companies, tracking of outstanding is a huge issue. So for them, it becomes very, very important to be able to track and efficiently deal with these outstanding, have get the outstanding recovered. And outstanding and outstanding related information. The other thing I wanted to show you was on the customer side, you have the collectors. So these are the account related contacts. Okay, the who is the primary contact. You can have more than one contact person. Their emails, their phone numbers, these are all recorded here. This is on the customer. Okay, and against that customer you could have different profiles. Okay, and this is where you have your collector. So we call it the profile history, the profile class. So this profile class is something that you can define and you can identify what is the total amount of credit that you're giving, what is the conversion rate, percent out of that, how much you're planning to, is there any tolerance, credit rating, risk score, balance terms, what is the payment terms, whether there'll be any receipt matching or not. So all these are related to your profile class. Okay. So when you define a profile class, you could have different profile classes created and tagged with the customer. So he might become, initially he might be a good customer, but gradually the profile might decrease. The account history, or based on the account history and based on how much the system is able to proceed with. Okay. So if you want to create any new record from an effective date, there you have from today's date, you can specify another set of profile classes and you can go in and change some of these parameters. Maybe you want to reduce his credit limit. Instead of 900,000, you want to reduce it to 100,000. So you can change the profile amount, credit currency, account status, risk code, credit ratings, okay, tolerances that you may have for that particular account, and any review date, review cycle, after how many days you are reviewing. Usually customers have every 6 months or every year their accounts will be reviewed. Okay. Oh, another thing is the late charges. So for this account, you can also impose certain late charges. So whether you want to enable or not is controlled here. So late charges is if the amount is outstanding for more than so many days, this is what you are going to charge them. Okay. These are your late charges of your customers. So as we saw, this is on the account. Okay. Remember, if you click on the account, you have the profile history over here of that particular customer. So the profile history will have your different um, collectors and collector related information. The profile class that you see here, that can be defined again in the setup. Customer profile classes. These are different profile classes that you have. If required, you can create more. Okay. So for these, each of these profile classes, you can have all these settings created one by one. Okay. So this was the topic that we covered today about collections. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So after receivables, the next topic would be assets. Okay, and once we complete assets, we would have covered all the topics that we were set to cover. Okay, so please ensure that you are up to date with all your activities. In case you want to review something or you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, and if you can get specific issues, that's better. Then we can go through them together. Ensure that when you're doing these setups and when you're doing the transactions in the system, you do them both simultaneously. Look at the setups, look at the transaction, see whether you are able to proceed with them or not. Okay, and check if you are able to do them successfully.
Okay, sir.
Anything else?
Not at present.
Okay, so I think today we can stop. If it's okay, we have a couple of more minutes. If you have anything, we can talk about that.
You can stop now.
I'll stop the recording.